If you've been playing GTA 5 for the last 12 years, have you gotten so tired of the Los Santos map that you feel like you'd rather play on the map of an even older game just to change things up a bit? Well, now you can thanks to a new mod by the World Travel community on Discord. You can download their mod called the Liberty City Preservation Project and see for yourself what the city feels like in GTA 5's engine. I gotta say, as somebody who's been a big fan of GTA 4 for a long time and who really enjoyed the design of Liberty City, this is really cool. Just so you know, I am playing this with NVE, and I'm using the HD texture pack for the Liberty City mod. You can always play the game with GTA 5's standard lighting and the original textures and it'll still look really good, but this is how it feels when the lighting and visuals are a bit upgraded. But remember that it's not going to have the same exact look that GTA 4 had, where everything is cast in a shade of beige or gray depending on the weather and time of day. Even without the visual enhancements, it's still in GTA 5's engine, where everything naturally looks a little less dull and dreary unless it's foggy or raining. Now, it might be a bit strange seeing the map looking this vibrant, but I think it looks cool. It feels more like Liberty City in the spring or summertime, and you can always use a trainer to keep the weather at whatever you want, like rainy or foggy or overcast for something that looks closer to GTA 4, or bright and sunny for what's basically the summertime weather. I don't think it even looks that out of place, it's basically just a different season. Oh, and if you liked how the city looked in the snow in my last video, you will be happy to know that you can still replicate that with this mod. Just use a trainer to activate snow as the weather setting, and you'll get the snow you usually find in GTA Online around Christmas. Covered in snow, the map still looks really good, even in GTA 5's engine. The car handling adjusts accordingly to the snow too. And having mentioned car handling, now you might be thinking, yeah, but it's GTA 5's handling. And yeah, of course it is, but that can be changed. I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But first I want to remind you that if you decide to play this with Natural Vision Evolved, make sure that that's the first thing that you install. Then install the Liberty map after. The first time around, I installed Liberty first and then NVE second, and it broke the traffic spawning. I was getting Los Santos vehicles on this map, which is not supposed to happen. Cars in this newly added part of the game world are different. A lot of the cars from GTA 4 are brought back, and they're part of the map's traffic. Some of them are the GTA 5 models that were updated by Rockstar. Others were imported from GTA 4, but with some improvements made, such as more detailed interiors for the first-person mode. Every car now has Liberty license plates, and most of them look like the 2010s New York plates, those old-school looking plates. The police that spawn are all LCPD, and aside from the GTA 4 cop car, there's even a few new cars they use, including something resembling the Ford Explorer with a rumbler siren, which is basically the new standard police cruiser here in the US. I haven't seen any of the cops driving in their meter-maid vehicles, but you can find them parked. Aside from the traffic, you've also got NPCs doing different things as well. There are some more actions that the developers added just to make the world feel a little bit more alive when you're exploring. You got people waiting outside of nightclubs, people posing for pictures at landmarks, waiting for subway trains, walking their dogs. Sometimes you'll come across police pursuits and gang shootouts happening in the world. Random fights can and do happen, and it can get chaotic pretty quickly. Just look at what happened here. This old guy driving a cab, who kind of reminds me of Jonathan Banks now that I think about it, and two of his passengers all happened to be armed, and they had a last stand, I guess. And then after all that, some more random gunmen showed up. Kind of felt like something out of a movie, and I tried to edit the camera angles as such. I gotta say, Liberty City makes for a damn good backdrop for these types of scenarios too. Oh, and speaking of the subway trains, you can ride them. The entire subway system is functional, and you can walk around inside the train and try to live out your favorite crazy subway videos. I also found it cool that we can finally stand on top of the trains, too. But how many of you are gonna just take the subway everywhere instead of just driving? I mean, it's not like gridlock is a thing you gotta worry about, but if you still can't stand GTA 5's vehicle handling, just install a mod that restores GTA 4's handling. Now it'll really feel like you're playing a remaster of GTA 4. And due to popular demand, the guys at World Travel are actually going to be adding an option to give you a choice between 4 and 5's handling. So whether you liked one or whether you liked the other, soon you'll have the option to pick between both. And aside from different cars that you can also spawn different types of aircraft as well. Any of GTA 5's helicopters works for admiring the view from the sky, but it's an absolute trip being able to finally fly around with airplanes. Now, I know that their official explanation for the lack of planes in GTA 4 was because the map was too small, although others think it had more to do with them not wanting people to fly around in airplanes in a city heavily based on New York, especially back then with 9/11 still being fresh on most people's minds. But as long as you're not doing something that looks crazy, then I think it's fine. In fact, I think this map works better when you're flying around in smaller, lighter aircraft anyway. There isn't really much of a need for fighter jets, but it's fun to zip around in a biplane. Just remember that for now, aside from exploration or driving and flying around, there aren't really any missions or activities that take place here. But according to the developers behind this mod, they do intend on adding more things to do. Some form of missions will be added for players. Obviously, these won't be GTA 4 missions ported over, but something like a throwback to 3-Leaf Clover would be awesome. And I'm interested in seeing what else they come up with. There's a lot to work with on the map and a lot of interesting locations they could use. Everything from neighborhoods to landmarks that the original game and the DLC didn't even make use of that exist in the world. Places based on locations like Rockefeller Plaza, the UN building, then there's that huge park in Bohan and even all those big mansions in Alderney. Even if they don't come up with interiors for these places, just the grounds alone would be good settings for missions. And aside from story missions, I think additional side missions like being a cab driver or a delivery guy would even be fun. Interiors are still a work in progress in some regard, but once those are completed, they will be adding things like buying food at restaurants, and the city's nightclubs will be functional as well. Going by what I've been told, they do want to add dancing at the clubs, and given how there's a driving range, golf is a possibility as well. They also want safe houses to act as working safe houses for the player too. Even ferries are something they're looking into to go between Algonquin and Alderney and to the Statue of Happiness. But until that all happens, I think just enjoying the sights and getting into car chases and shootouts in a new area is still fun. And personally, I think the city looks great with the new visuals. It really feels like it was tailor-made for the game. Oh, and everybody's favorite supernatural swing set is back. The developers of this project actually programmed the swings to do this. It's one of those times when a bug was intentionally added, and I'm glad they did it. It still feels just as fun to use in this game's engine as it was in GTA 4's engine. And remember, there are 2 swing sets that do this. There's the one in Broker, and there's also one in Alderney. And sometimes it'll really throw you far away. Not only that, when else are you going to be able to drive a tank into this thing? Or an 18-wheeler? Or a Soviet missile launcher? Or how about a flying bike? Or maybe a submarine? You get the picture. If you're interested in this mod, I've left a link to the Discord server below that contains the downloads for it. Hope you enjoy it, and be grateful that these guys have been working on this since 2018. They worked hard, and you know what? They did a fantastic job, and I really hope we get to see more updates to it in the future. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you check out this mod, thank the World Travel Team.